Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I'm here today to do a video response to, well, I first saw this video on the Waves of the Soul with a lovely Marine, a lovely French tarot reader on the Waves of Your Soul. I first saw this video, but I believe this video was first shown by a lady at the Curated Shelf. I have watched a couple of her videos, but I haven't managed to work out her name yet. I haven't heard it in the videos or seen it in the description, so I do apologise. So this is a video response to the Curated Shelf. And the name of this video is My Favourite Majors. It's my favourite Major Arcana cards, and I did wonder whether I would even do this video, to be honest, because I thought it would take me such a long time to sort through all of my decks and try and work out what were my favourite cards. But actually, as I got started, it became quite easy really, and quite apparent quite quickly which were my favourite cards. I think there's probably a couple here where I've got more than one card, but there we go. It's really difficult to pin it down to one card, so there we go. So I'm going to get started because I hope I don't ramble on too much and this isn't too long a video. I'm not going to put timestamps in it because, well, I don't know. I don't think every video needs timestamps. But anyway, I hope that you're all well. It's a really, really gloomy, miserable day here in the UK. And I thought I would sit today and do some videos. So there we go. So my first card, which is the Fool, is from my Psychic Tarot deck. And I love this card, really, to be honest. I mean, normally we see a man, so it's nice to see a woman. This card is called New Beginnings, and I think the reason why I like this just so much is I just like how she's dressed, and like she's got everything she needs to set out into the world, and like literally we can see here the world is at her feet, isn't it? She's walking out into the unknown, you know, and leaving the safety and security of her home and walking out into the unknown. And she's got her bag and I think a jacket there and her wand, and I don't know. I think that, to be honest, the Fool card is not one of my favourites in the deck, but I do love this card. I'm quite fond of that. So that's the Fool. My favourite Magician card is from the Light Seekers deck, and I think I really like this card so much because I think it's just very simple. We can see exactly what he's doing sat here. He's manipulating energy, isn't he? He's moving energy around. He is a master manifester, I suppose. He's somebody that is able to move energy around, and we can see that very, very clearly here in this picture. So I think we've got the sun, the light behind him, which represents that sort of primal energy as well. I don't know, this card just really speaks to me, I guess, so I really like that. The High Priestess, card number 2, is from my Game of Thrones deck, and this is a deck I haven't used very much over the last year or so, but I do love it actually, and I just think in terms of what a High Priestess means to me, I think Melisandre from Game of Thrones just fits the bill really well, because, you know, the High Priestess is not all light, is she? You know, Melisandre here was capable of doing terrible, terrible things, and she used her powers in quite dark ways. And I think often the High Priestess is just seen as this sort of cold, distant figure, perhaps working for light, I don't know, whereas Melisandre was a priestess of fire, wasn't she? And that was where she gained much of her power and her energy from. So yeah, I just think in terms of a High Priestess, you can't beat Melisandre. For the Empress, for card number 3, I've got here my Book of Shadows, Volume 2 deck, and I just love this. This to me is everything that sort of divine feminine represents. You know, we don't always have to see a pregnant belly, but it is definitely about nurture and creativity. And this woman here is gardening, she's growing things. She's also looking after her son. She's putting a band-aid on his knee. You know, she's a good mother. She's a nurturer. And, you know, whether you're male or female, you know, I think this is a fantastic representation of the Empress energy. So I really like that. My Emperor, I've got 2 cards here actually of the Emperor. This is another one of the Book of Shadows Volume 2, which I really do like, this deck. And here we see a woman, but she's in control, isn't she? She's working from home, she's got her laptop there, she's got a notepad, her phone, her calendar on the wall. It looks like she's also cooking. You know, she's multitasking, she's on top of things, she's in control. And this is very much Emperor energy, isn't it? Just with a female sat there. So I think that's a brilliant, sort of quite contemporary Emperor card. And the other one that I chose, I just couldn't help myself really, was a very masculine Emperor here from my zombie deck. Again, a deck I don't use very often, but it makes me smile, this deck. And I just think he's like the ultimate protector and defender, isn't he? He's, you know, he's barricaded the front door. He's got his child behind him. He's prepared to lay down his life, I think, to look after and protect his family, which is yet another very strong influence of the Emperor energy. So that's brilliant. For the Hierophant, which is card number 5, this is again from my zombie deck. And again, I just can't help myself with this card really, because this is the TV and this is a news reporter. And I think these days, in our modern times, this sort of spiritual leader or this advisor or this wise person, we're cut off from those people within our community, and often people watch TV and that's where they get much of their knowledge and their motivation for things from. And I think this card really is just warning us. It's a warning, or that's what it is to me anyway. It's a warning that perhaps these are not the best places to go for kind of spiritual leaders or people to influence our thinking. So yeah, I love that card. That's a fantastic take on the Hierophant. Card number 6 is from my Book of Shadows, deck volume 2, yet again. And again, I like this card very much. This is the Lovers, because it's just a very contemporary take yet again. It's a very modern feeling card. And this is a couple buying a new house, which is what we do, isn't it? You know, the Lovers is not just about that initial meeting of two people. It's about the development of a bond and a life together. And part of that is, part of the growth of that relationship is the making of a home together. So I think that's why this card resonates so strongly for me. Card number 7 is from my Anna Kay deck, and this is the Chariot. And just quite simply, the reason why I like this card is I just think the colours are glorious. I just love the sun. It's like the charioteer just got in his chariot and he flew away out towards the sun, which is towards himself, really, if you like, his own inner vitality, isn't it? His own inner light. And every time I see this card, it just makes me smile. It's probably one of my, yeah, it is my favourite Chariot card. And the Chariot is not generally one of my favourite cards, I guess, but I just can't help myself with this one. It's the sun, I think. It's just beautiful. My next card, card number 8, is Strength. And this again is the Game of Thrones tarot. And again, I just can't think of a better person to represent all of the qualities of the Strength card. What's her name from Game of Thrones? Brienne, perhaps, have I said that right? What she suffered in in the Game of Thrones programme, and who she suffered for. She was always so immensely loyal and dedicated, and she had so many occasions where she had to dig really deep. And to me, I think that's what the Strength card represents, really, is that ability to go beyond and to dig deep, to find courage within yourself in the face of all kinds of terrors. So I love that. The next card I've got here, I've got 2 of, just because I couldn't help myself, really. This is my own personal archetype, I think, really, the Hermit. I'm a Virgo, and Virgo sun and moon, so the Hermit really resonates for me. And this is from the Book of Shadows, Volume 2, yet again. And this is me. This is me. This is, you know, I don't have a bath actually anymore. I have a shower, but when I used to have a bath, there I would be in my bath with my candles, my books, often a glass of wine. But it was really just that time to retreat and just give myself some space from the world, really, to reflect upon things, to mull things over, or sometimes to learn new things, you know, to illuminate new things, which is what the Hermit does best. And again, this is my zombie deck, and I couldn't help myself with this, because ever since I got this deck, it's made me laugh. This was genuinely me throughout all of the COVID pandemic nonsense, really, was me at home on my sofa with my chocolates and my books, quite comfy, really trying to ignore what was going on in the world, and just to have no part of it and to be in my own little world. And I love this card. It just makes me smile. The next card, number 10, is the Wheel of Fortune. And again, this is Anna Kay. The Wheel of Fortune doesn't resonate that strongly for me as a card. It's not really one of my favourite cards particularly. But I do like this one just because, again, I like the colours, I like the sun, and I just like how very clear this is, in that life is a constant movement, isn't it? You know, sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, and that when we're up near the sun, near all of that heat and that energy, we should celebrate that and enjoy that and be part of that energy. And it won't be long before we'll be sort of falling off the wheel again, and times will feel harder and we might struggle with certain things. But I think what this card is saying to me is just don't resist, don't struggle against the movement of life. Just be in the moment and enjoy it, I think. Card number 11 is the Justice card. And this again is the Book of Shadows, Volume 2. And this is fantastic because here we see a woman rubbing her toes. It's the end of the day, it's night time, she's taken her high-heeled shoes off. And this really is just a brilliant visual representation of cause and effect, isn't it? If you're going to walk around all day in high heels, you're going to have sore feet. There are consequences. Again, number 12 here is the Hanged Man, and this is from my Tarot of the Oppositions deck. And I struggled to find a card I really liked for the Hanged Man, to be honest. This again is not a card that I feel very strongly about particularly, but I do like this one because we can see here very clearly that in its upright position, this man here has just sort of relaxed into the place that he is in at the moment. It's a willing sacrifice, and he's kind of relaxed into that, whereas in its shadow positions, he's very much not relaxed into it. He's fighting, and because he's fighting, he's tying himself up in knots and probably hurting himself even more. So, this is a very clear message here, isn't it, about the energy of the Hanged Man, of that need sometimes to just be patient and still and kind of go with the energy that you have. Card number 13, the Death card, I've got here from my Light Seekers deck again, and I love this card again just because of its simplicity, really. The Death card can be portrayed in so many different ways, but this is just like through the open sort of hood of the Death figure here, we can see the sun, we can see the sky, we can see new life, a new day, a new dawn, endings and beginnings. It's just very, very simple to me. I love that card. For Temperance, I've got 2 cards again, I'm afraid. This is from the Book of Shadows again. But I love this because this again just shows very clearly that energy of temperance, of that sort of blending of things, of getting the right balance. If there was too much alcohol poured here, the evening may not go well. Somebody might get drunk and spoil the evening, and with just the right amount of alcohol, things can go very well, can't they? So that's why I like that card. But I couldn't help but choose this one. This is from my Mary L deck, and I've just never seen temperance portrayed in this way. I just love it, the fiery energy of the tiger and the water, and it's like the tiger is playing with the water here. I don't know, it just makes me feel, it makes me smile. I love this card. It's beautiful. The next card I've got, I'm afraid I have picked 2 again. Naughty me, I realise that, but I've just found it so difficult to I've just found it so difficult to focus on just one card here, really, to be honest. And again, this is my Light Seekers deck with the Devil, and I love this card, really, because this is everything I think that the Devil represents to me. It's kind of, he's vaguely handsome. He's got those sort of alluring sort of eyes, that sort of mesmerising eyes of sort of like, come here kind of eyes to me. that are enticing but dangerous. And I think to me that's everything that the Devil card is. It's all of the things in life that we desire for one reason or another, but are bad for us, are dangerous. There's a very strong message in that card. And I also love, this is from my Pagan Cats tarot, and this just makes me laugh. I just think it's brilliant, and I think the reason why is because these cats here are trying to be something that they're not. You know, one of them's trying to be a dog, and I think the other one's trying to be a rabbit, perhaps, I'm not sure, but this is certainly a warning tale, isn't it, in this card of how dangerous it can be to try and be something that you're not. Card number 16, which is the Tower. This is from my Psychic Tarot deck, yet again. And you know, I think this is one of my favourite cards ever, this card. This says disruption. And I don't know, the energy of this card I just think is fantastic. It's like he's been cut into all these different sections, and he could just fall apart at any second. You know, what's keeping him together there? Who knows? But you know, that this bit could slide that way and this bit that way, and he could just completely fall apart any second. And there's a real sort of chaotic feel about this card, that, you know, when he falls, it will be sudden, won't it? And it will be brutal. It is like the falling apart of a person. It's just a fantastic card. My next card is card number 17, the Star. And again, this is from my Mary L deck. And I struggled, to be honest, to find a card that I really strongly resonated with the Star. I don't really know why I've chosen this one actually either, except that it's just beautiful. It has a really peaceful, gentle, sort of, just a beauty to it. I don't really know. It's a flowy sort of card. I don't know really what it is. I think the expression on her face there, it's a very open card, isn't it? A very receptive card, a very hopeful card. And I just think it's beautiful. I love that. Card number 18 is the Light Seekers again, and this is the Moon. And again, I did struggle to find a card to pin down that I really liked for this, but I think that it has to be this one, just because she's underwater, isn't she? And I think, to me, that's often what the moon represents, is that sort of distorted view of things. You know, water obviously represents emotion, and she's looking up at the moon through the water, which will obviously distort the view of the moon. And I think that's why it resonates so strongly, is this kind of distorted emotional feeling. Card number 19. We're near the end now. Card number 19 is the Sun, and this is from my Book of Shadows deck yet again. And I just love this. This is everything that the Sun represents to me. It's good times, it's family, good food, a good atmosphere, a good feeling and a good energy. And that's a beautiful card, isn't it? Card number 20 is Judgment, and this is the Game of Thrones deck again. What a fantastic image for Judgment. You know, the White Walker, the King White Walker here. You know, people are being resurrected here, but not in a good way. And I just think I don't really know what this makes me think, actually, because the Judgment card normally is a very positive card. It's a resurrection in a very positive and healthy way. It's new beginnings, whereas this is not so much. But so I don't really know why I like it so much, but I do. And the last card here is the World, and this is from the Book of Shadows deck again. And this is just fantastic, because this is like the schoolgirl from the Fool at the beginning of that deck, and now as her sort of fully mature and sort of individuated self, her new self, out in the world. And although she's in this sort of busy city here, or surrounded by people, she is just herself. You know, she's glowing from within with her own inner light. And I would imagine that whatever sort of toxicity and noise and clamour and clutter and drama that's going on around her just won't even touch her. At least that's the feel that I get from this card. So I think that's a fantastic card. So yeah, there we go. They're my favourite major arcanas, and some of them were unexpected, some of them were hard to decide, and some of them were very easy. I think what was interesting was, considering I've got probably about 60 different decks, I've probably only used, I don't know, a handful, half a dozen decks here, 6 or 7 decks, I suppose. And I realised when I was going through my decks that a lot of my favourite cards are actually not major arcana cards. They are the minor arcanas, and they are to be found in some of my other decks. So I will have a look at my favourite court cards at some point, and then my favourite minor arcana cards at some point, because I just think it's a really interesting and helpful process to go through, really. I will add this video to my playlist of VRs, but also to my playlist of Learn Tarot, because I think that this is a helpful video to go in that playlist as well. So there we go. I've managed to do all 22 cards in less than 30 minutes. So I'm really, really pleased with myself for doing that and not rambling on for too long. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that that was interesting for you to see my choices. I certainly have enjoyed watching other people's choices on this video, and thanks so much for being here with me. And I shall link in the description box the video from the Waves of the Soul from the lovely Marine, and also from the lady at the Curated Shelf. I shall link both of their videos in the description box. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.